Your villain era is a portal, a one-way threshold where the version of you that overgave, overextended, and overexplained does not survive the transition. Your villain era is your body, mind, and spirit rejecting the role of the sacrificial lamb. As you step through this portal, you stop waiting for permission to prioritize yourself. This is deconstruction. This is sovereignty. This is untamed, unapologetic self respect. Your villain era is the end of being the easy choice, the end of negotiating your worth, the end of living as an open invitation. This is you, fully, unapologetically, and finally. I love it. I love it. Tap in. So, when you enter your villain era, you actually come into a breaking point. And for you, I feel like this breaking point comes with this moment that you realized that you were being the good guy, the moment that you were sacrificing everything for everyone else. It's like the situation that led you there is a situation surrounding your finances. There has been a lot of talk lately about what the economy looks like, how people are utilizing their money over unnecessary consumerism, where you're buying more than what you need. The Knight of Pentacles can show up when you enter your villain era, where you have sacrificed something that was an exchange of energy. You were giving too much of something that you worked hard to establish, and people just took. You were always paying the price for someone else's shortcomings. You were always paying the price for somebody's weaponized incompetence. You were always paying the price when you went out for dinner. If one of your friends or family members had a hard day, you're like, hey, let's go out, and you still end up picking up the bill, even though there was this understanding that it shouldn't always be on you. It ended up on you anyway. And that's the thing about the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles only moves when you tell it to move. It is a figment of royalty. And unless there is something dire that needs to come from your spiritual realm, from your archangels, the Knight of Pentacles only moves from royalty to royalty. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like the moment that got you to entering your villain era or reestablishing your villain era or even going deeper into your villain era is the fact that you recognize that everything that you worked hard for, you were easily giving it away to other people without any reciprocity. And that is a banged up situation. That's not cool. Why should you be the sacrifice? Why should you be the one to always go home after an interaction with someone who quite frankly puts themselves in these situations over and over again because they don't have the ability to self-regulate. They don't have the ability to recognize that they are their own worst enemy. Instead of dealing with themselves and whatever situations they got going on, they come and dump it on you only to go back to that same situation. And that's not cool at all. I feel like your breaking point while entering this villain era, which I love for you, is that you're tired. You're just simply tired of coming home completely drained because other people have taken so much from you. Another reason that you're stepping into your villain era is because the Knight of Pentacles shows up for a lot of reasons, and most people like contributed to money. I contributed to time, and I contributed to knowledge, like infinite spiritual knowledge that you can activate here in the 3D world. I do feel like you have given a lot of money to someone for what that person would deem as an emergency, right? It's always something going on where they need money, but they refuse to take the gifts that not just you, but other people have given them. And it's still the same mistakes over and over again. And you've come to the realization that if you give this person a fish, they're not going to learn how to, what's the phrase? If you give a man a fish, they'll eat for a day. But if you teach a man to catch his own fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. I feel like you have given people fish this entire time and they refuse to learn to take control of situations for themselves. And they came to you one last time asking for whatever the resource is, money, a reference at a job. You gave them a reference for the last two jobs they got fired for. And I love that for you. This situation that got you into your villain era, you're tired of giving your resources away. And I completely understand that. And good for you for standing up for yourself. When you said no to this person, you said, I will not invest in you anymore at the behest of my own sanity. This person panicked. They don't know what to do because you've always been the backbone of their survival. And now they're looking at you like, oh, okay, you're trash now. You're not going to help. You're now the bad guy because you refuse to do what you've always done. Let me tell you something. Your villain era, it does not have to be dark. Your villain era is about the light. Your villain era is about you shining bright because you're pouring into yourself. And the one thing that I like about your villain era is that you get to reconstruct where you put your energy, who you put your energy into, and your reasons. So I definitely believe that this catalyst for change in your villain era is because you are tired. For you to be like, I'm tired of giving my resources away. I'm tired of working hard for myself. I'm tired of reading the information and then giving it away for free because people don't want to read for themselves. I'm tired of giving money away that I work hard for. I go in and put in the same amount of hours as you do. I have to answer for my bad budgeting when I don't do right because I splurge or I'm trying to save for a house, whatever the case may be. It doesn't even matter. The fact of the matter is you're tired of working the same hours and putting in the same work, and then somebody else is flipping with their money and they come to you to try to save them. You're just tired of all of it. You're tired of being people's psychologists. You're tired of being people's soundboards when they want to be in the same trash relationships. You're just tired of it. And now that you put up boundaries, people don't like you for it because they don't know where else to go. That's on them. Tap in. Now, I do understand that there are roles you take on in life in certain people's world. And I do recognize that there will be people that will be cut off, and there will be people who are invited into your life simply because the energy exchange is mutual. This is a really important part because as you continue through your villain era, which is going to get messy for other people, not for you, because you're in your villain era. I don't even think you care about how other people are reacting to you putting up your boundaries. The person you were before, I would like to briefly talk to that energy. Look, the Knight of Wands. You were always someone that showed up no matter what. When somebody called you, you came. When somebody said, I need, you provided. You stepped up and you completed the project for them. And that was the person you were before. The catalyst was that you were depleted. People saw that you were depleted and still asked you for something, did not care that you were without and still wanted you to show up for them. That's not who you will be anymore. It's actually interesting when we look at these two together, the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Pentacles is not paying attention to the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands has his back to the Knight of Pentacles. That means that you are no longer going to show up as this person. You are focused on you. You have recognized that this is the catalyst, that you will no longer be this person, and that it's time to move forward. You are always showing up for people who made a big deal out of something that was not that deep. Like when people call you up and say, hey, I need advice for something, I know that it's nice to be appreciated and seen as an expert in certain fields. But for this, you were showing up for people who lack the ability to see that they could build their own community of knowledge, right? Your community of knowledge is the books that you read, the articles that you read, the intellectual conversations that go back and forth, and not just going to someone and saying, this is what you're going to give me. And that's what that Three of Wands represents here. The Three of Wands represents that people that don't recognize they have their own light but wanted you to ignite them, they are the ones going to feel the pinch of you saying no to them. They are going to explode because they depended on you showing up at the drop of a dime. You won't do that anymore. Not just not showing up, but standing 10 toes down. I have a feeling that there's eventually going to try to butter you up. You're going to make your boundaries clear. Once you make this clear, they're going to try a very slick move, which is to invite you to something that's neutral, right? That's going to invite you maybe to a cookout or a family dinner or game night. It is a ruse. The game night, the family dinner, the outing, whatever it is, that is to soften you, to make you believe, oh, we're just going to hang out with a group of friends or with more than just her and I or him and I or whoever. That's the cover up. Because once they get you alone, they're going to start prying to see where they could cross your boundaries, where they could infiltrate the old version of you instead of respecting that you have arrived in your villain era and they cannot stop it. As we push through this information of your villain era, it's not just that you set up your boundaries and this pushed you over the edge. Like, so you know that this person or these people keep crossing your boundaries and you're finally saying no. It's also that you learned a lesson. There is a lesson somewhere in here. And I would like to dive just a bit deeper into that lesson because I feel like this was the eye opener before you went into your villain era. And look, most definitely, you were emotionally giving too much of yourself. You were emotionally, the Three of Swords and the Four of Cups. So you were giving more to other people to the point where you couldn't even fill yourself back up. And that was the most painful part. And the thing about this lesson and this realization, like the thing that pushed you to this point, it's not just the fact that it hurts, it emotionally hurts because people were taking so much from you. And I do believe that the lesson that you learned, it was more spiritual before you put it in action here in the 3D. And your mind started, once the mindset shift happened, it took another situation for you to recognize what this moment is. I have this realization, I understand what's happening. Boom, you put your boundaries in place. That's what happened. So if you feel like, oh, I can't believe I let this go on for so long, you have your awakenings when you have your awakenings. You move how you move when you move. And God is going to make sure that you see how and when it is the most beneficial for you to move so that you can recover in a beautiful, healthy way. I just want to remind you real quick, friend, that when you enter your villain era, it's not dark. It's the world. It's who you are. And again, I want to say that it illuminates you even more. It's not this, you're out there to hurt anybody. You're not out there to slam anybody, talk trash to anybody. You're not this horrible, mean person. You're the villain because you chose to take away your power from other people. You chose not to be a pushover, and you're learning radical self-love. Radical self-love means that you don't show up for anybody who does not care about you and not willing to exchange the same level of energy for you, period. And I'm looking back at this Three of Swords and Four of Cups where you were giving more than what your heart should have given. I'm getting this spiritual calling. And the spiritual calling is that when you decided, when this spiritual lesson, when this spiritual vibration hit you to where you had this awakening to how people treat you and use you, this Four of Cups to me is a symbol that you have been depleted for a very long time. Not just a month, not just 6 months. I'm talking about you have given everything to everyone for years. Enough is enough. You're not doing that anymore. This villain era is your permission to say fuck off. This villain era is your permission to say, I love me more than any of you hoes. Tap in. And if their point to that is you are the bad guy, I'll be that. So now that you understand you are in your villain era, that you have decided to protect your resources and know the calling that you fall for, which is people you run to when they ask for help immediately because they don't know how to keep their own fire lit. Instead of them finding the light within, they take your light, and you recognize that this source of a problem has been with you for a long time, and you're now ready to shut all that off. Now that you realize what pushed you into this next level, what the catalyst was. It's now time to look at what crossing in this threshold does for you. You are not wrong for choosing you. Now, what does that look like? This is defining your villain era persona. This is the energy, the mindset, and the strategy that you're stepping into. Let's look at the villain like archetype here. Like, let's look at where your big dog energy is coming from. And this might resonate on multiple levels for you, or it might not. And that's okay. It's not always going to tap in immediately, but we're going to make it happen. Page of Cups. Wow. So, what kind of power player are you becoming? You are becoming the power player of your emotional domain. When we go through the cups, there's a lot of emotional up and downs, right? Your emotions are never monolithic. Your emotions go up, down. You feel multiple ways throughout the day. You might have a baseline of, I'm happy. Your baseline might be, I'm not in the mood for any bullshit today. There's always a baseline of your affect, right? But when you start pouring into yourself, you become absolutely fluid in your emotional response to the world. When you start pouring into yourself unapologetically, when you understand that you were trying to fulfill everyone else because you thought it was going to fulfill you and it no longer worked that way, and you found that no one was pouring back into you because they didn't give a fuck and they don't love you the way that you love the world. I love this because this radical self-love is essentially new to you. This radical self-love is what you've been giving everyone else, the energy you've been giving everyone else that you did not give to yourself. And tap in. My goodness. I can't believe the Page of Cups came out with the Knight of Pentacles, because these two power players are close enough to each other where they understand the nuance of stepping into your sovereignty, what it looks like to be on this new path. You're redirecting that energy into something much more powerful. I would not be surprised if in this villain era, there's a lot of tears. Tap in. You've got to release a lot of this stress that you've been carrying. With the Page of Cups, it comes with the revisiting of situations where you gave your all and people spit on your feet and slapped you in the face. You have to revisit the moments where you gave yourself an opportunity to be vulnerable with these people, with these situations, with these opportunities that you thought were right for you, and you were met with resistance. Because you believed it was the right move at the time, because you believed in pouring into other people and other situations and other projects and your job, you now have this moment where you are reflecting. You're saying, what the heck was I even smoking? What was wrong with me? What was I smoking, girl? Where did this come from? What happened? What was this? I can't believe this is who I was. I want you to ruminate. I believe that there are lessons in looking back at the opportunities that you did not give yourself because you were pouring into other people. But I don't believe in ruminating. The lesson is learned. What has been done has been done. This is now your opportunity to look at how amazing you are. And you know what else? With this Page of Cups, you start to attract the people who also love you and want to pour into you. I want you to take a step back, breathe in, and as you move through your villain era, I want you to take notice of the people that support you. I want you to take notice of the people that tap in with you, show up for you, and check in with you, saying, hey, I know that you're changing, learning to draw your boundaries, becoming a better person, and deep into your spiritual practices. I love that for you. Let me know how I could be of service. This is an opportunity for you to not just test how strong you've become, but to also find your tribe. I know in this world of do everything by yourself and you don't need anybody, the fact is that we're social creatures. Everybody wants a tribe. Everybody wants to feel like they belong somewhere and have a group of people they can vibe with, like tap in without toxicity, without hate, without having one thing that you disagree with be a disqualifier. Tap in. And with this Page of Cups, you will start to attract those people who want that for you, who want that for themselves, and meet in the middle. This Page of Cups energy with this Knight of Pentacles is next level energy because it truly invites what you need in order to heal, and that's self-reflection, self-trust. Because you can lose trust in yourself. You can start questioning your intuition once you start reflecting on everything you did for everyone else. Don't remove that as if it never existed, because your intuition led you to heal other people. That's how you showed up. You showed up as someone who wanted to rescue and help people because they were in need. And when you see people in need, you then provide a service or a road to healing for them. And if that's something that is within you, I want you to just redirect that back to yourself, friend. Tap in. Now that is next level. That is beautiful. I love this. I think that we should look at your non-negotiables, because although we've established what it is that got you here, your non-negotiables, oh, you will never feel trapped. Now check this. You will never ever feel trapped again. We have the Three of Swords and the Eight of Swords. You will never ever allow yourself to be in a position where you have to experience heartbreak because people didn't show up for you. You will never be in a position of exposure, of vulnerability, where people took you. When I say take advantage of you, I'm talking about people exploited your kind heart. Tap in. And people do this consciously because they know you. So people make the conscious effort to call on you for their failures so that you pick up their slack in their own lives. Give them advice for the 100th time on the same situation over the last 5 to 10 years. And you are not showing up like that anymore. Your new non-negotiable is that you will not allow the steps, the behaviors of other people that you learned, that you reflected on, you will not allow them to creep up into your life anymore and put you in the same position that you were before. Tap in. I am really liking this Eight of Swords energy. This Eight of Swords coming out next to the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands came out because it's like, who are the people that you show up for? That is the trap. The people who refuse to give themselves their own ignition. You want to be the fire for everybody else. And that is a place where you fall into a trap. And you're just saying, not again, never again. If you cannot light your own fire repeatedly because you refuse to put in that work, you can't do that for them. It's still going to be temporary, where they call you back over and over. No, where you shine is helping people who help themselves. Where you shine is showing up for people who show up for themselves. Where you shine is people who give back to their communities, and you love doing that too. But you will never be burdened by this energy ever again. And I love this for your villain era. This is going to take a lot of work, friend. It's not going to happen overnight because you're changing your behaviors. You're changing how you think. You're checking yourself in real time on how you feel. Imagine someone tapping into you and saying, hey, I need you to come and light my fire. This might not be the best route for me. I am working on myself to not be readily available for everyone during their emergencies. I cannot show up for you. But I do believe that maybe a therapist, a self-help book, whatever would be best for you. And until you can find your light, I think it's best that we not talk to each other. You can be as direct as that. You should be as direct as that. Because while I know there's like this idea, and there is, like, I'm not even going front. You can cut people off completely. I'm here for that when the situation calls for it. But when you are doing this radical change, self-love, there are going to be people that utilize your powers for themselves that don't understand that there's a change happening, and they're going to try to test you. They're going to try to come for you. It's okay to let them know, like, you're not a part of this journey. You can get out of here. I'm not taking this shit anymore. And I love that. I totally love that for you. Oh my gosh. And you know what? It's wild because looking at this page of cups, look at the train coming through. I don't even know if y'all can hear that, but the train is coming through giving confirmation. Tap in. Thank you, train. I'm going to let you rock on in the background because you are 100% confirmation. The Six of Cups here is at the bottom. And I picked this up not even recognizing what I was about to say. The Page of Cups is giving me this energy that because you are recognizing your own emotional endeavors, your own emotional healing, and trusting in your own intuition, and believing the energy that you feel in the moment is accurate, it is real, it is justified. Spiritually, tap in. Your intuition is going to read the room before everything else on your body does. Tap in. Your intuition it's going to let you know. This emotional archaeology is letting you know. You got a choice here. You have a choice. The choice is you're either going to go back to being the patsy for people who don't give a shit about you, or you are going to pour into yourself until you are fulfilled and overflowing. Tap in. Tap in. Now let's talk about what no longer moves you. One of the things that no longer moves you is people who are going to try to weaponize their tears. Because the fact that the Page of Cups, the Six of Cups came up, it's because you are healing yourself. You're like, hey, I know what this is going to be. I already know. Because you already cried 1,000 times. People are going to attempt to use your soft heart. They're going to try to tap into you with their own tears. I already know it. Look, we got the Star and we got the Ace of Pentacles. This is you standing 10 toes down. Ariana Grande said no more tears left to cry. And they don't have any more tears left to cry to try to manipulate you into coming back to being their emotional punching bag, to being their financial bank. You're not doing that anymore. The Ace of Pentacles coming through. Wow. Beautiful. With the Star, the direction that you're going in right now is you not allowing old wounds to get a reaction from you. Tap in. I'm telling you, this Ace of Pentacles, you're just like, yeah, I know this road for me. I know where I'm going. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. Even through the tears that you cry, once you wipe your tears, I'm talking about those that are trying to utilize your powers and your gifts. Once you look at their tears and you see your intuition saying, like, this is all bullshit and manipulative behavior, you're going to tell them, you have to find your own light. I can't do it for you anymore. And you're going to go about your merry way because this is a new road for you. This is a new step for you. I love this. And the Ace of Pentacles even showing up like this is letting me know that all of the healing and the love that you poured into yourself with the Page of Cups, with the Knight of Pentacles, is leading to new growth. So now you're like new growth, new you, like new year, new you, boo. That's the level that you want right now. And this is absolutely magnificent. I feel like with this Ace of Pentacles, we are reaching the era of power moves. So in this villain era, you're stepping into power moves. These are moves that you have never taken for yourself before. And I'm telling you, these are going to be bold. These are going to be epic. These are going to be next level moves that put you in the room with the movers and the shakers. If you're already in those rooms with the big boss dogs, I'm telling you, you are going to open up portals to opportunities that you've only dreamed about, that you've only seen in the movies. Tap in. Tap in. So let me tell you how Your new power move is going to make people feel when you come in. Ooh, your next power move is tapping into your magic, and you're going to make people feel like magic when you step in. Tap in. This is your supernatural energy with people that you know are going to recognize your art, recognize your skill, recognize that you have extraordinary powers that can draw the right people in, close the deals, get the application to the elite status clubs, the golf clubs, all of that. Like this magic in your power moves, when you show up in rooms, I want you to take a chance on yourself, friend. I want you to go to a place that you once believed when you had a limiting belief. I want you to go to a place that you thought you didn't belong because you thought you didn't have enough money or you didn't have the right clothes. I want you to apply. I want you to walk in. I want you to sign up for that charity dinner. I want you to do whatever it is that you have to do in order to get into that space and watch you work your own magic. Watch your magic draw people into a space where all they can do is recognize your transformation. Recognize that you are an operation of changing on a mathematical level. I'm talking about the angles, the listen, y'all know that meme where all the numbers is in front of listen. People gonna be like, what is that science she dropping? It's the magic, it's the transformation, it's the science of transformational magic. Tap in. Oh my gosh. So that's how people are going to be attracted to you when you walk into a space, especially a space that you've never been in before. Especially in a space where you thought you didn't belong before. The power move is inviting yourself and knowing that you belong there. That's the power. And your first bold move is to invite yourself. Tap in. My goodness. And your secret weapon, your secret weapon. I need y'all to walk through this. Your secret weapon is your beauty. Tap in. Now, a lot of people want to say, oh, it's the way you look. Oh, it's how your face is. It's how your body. And I'm sure, giving body, giving face, that's definitely a part of your beauty. But it's also the thing that gives pleasure to people. It's also what draws people into you. It's your beautiful spirit. It's your beautiful soul. It's your beautiful mind. It's the way that you work your lexicon with people. How you can pull beautiful words out of your vocabulary, out of your Rolodex. Who else you are in contact with that is also beautiful. You are graceful. You are ornamental. People want to show you off. Tap in. The other thing that is your secret weapon is the fact that people desire you. People desire your knowledge. Tap in. People desire your resources. You know that because people were using you for that before without pouring into you. Now, people desire you. They want to pay for your knowledge. I'm telling you, this Knight of Pentacles at top that kicked it all off for you, this is the invitation along with the portal. There's a portal being closed, there's a portal being open. The portal that is being closed is people coming to you so that they can utilize your resources. The portal that is being open is that you are inviting the resources back to you in a way that it is beneficial to you and beneficial to the other party. And there's an even exchange. People will desire you. Third secret weapon, creating order out of chaos. See, there's something quite magical about taking chaos and transforming it into something that people desire and see as beautiful. You can only understand that when you enter your villain era. Why? Because your villain era is your source of understanding that people can be on some bullshit You know what it's like to be used, taken advantage of. You know what it's like to go without. You know what it's like to invite people and they say no to you simply because they don't want you to win, succeed, have more than them. You know what it's like for your emotions to be chaotic. That's why the Page of Cups is so important in your villain era, because now you're pouring back into yourself. Not anymore. Your superpowers, your secret weapon is your beauty, the desire, and creating order out of chaos. Tap in. I love this for you. Look at what your villain era is bringing for you. Tap in. Look at the fact that your villain era is leading you to prosperity. You didn't have room for that because you were still in the portal where you were giving so much away. Now that you stepped through a better portal, a bigger portal of energy, you are inviting that back into you. I gotta be real with you, friend. When you start leveling up like this, a lot of people that's not gonna be able to touch you. A lot of people that's not gonna be able to come back into your world. And you gotta be okay with that. Are you okay with that, friend? Tap in. Because if you're not okay with that, we have to revisit the Page of Cups. If you're not okay with that, we have to revisit you making a decision about what you're holding on to, the limiting beliefs that may be infiltrating into your villain era. As we close out this conversation with your villain era, there are some things that I want you to pay attention to. One of the things is how the world will react to you. What you'll start seeing, what you'll start feeling. How about I pulled out 3 cards. One of the cards is desire. Now, what are the odds that we have 2 cards on the board that talk about desire? You are desirable. People want you. They yearn for you. There are going to be people that aspire to be you. This villain era is, again, not darkness. It is you illuminating you, taking the focus off of you, giving your energy and power to everyone else and giving it and redirecting it and sending the traffic back to you. Now that we got 2 desires on the board, it's clear, it's evident that the shackles have been removed from you. You have been released from the idea that the world wants you to give so much of your power away with nothing in return. That is what's clear. And I want you to just drill in your head that the other thing that's clear is your desire. Like, girl, everybody want to be hanging with you. Tap in. And then the other way the world is going to adjust to you, only the elite will be able to grab your attention. The elite power players, the elite financial institutions are going to want to do business with you because of how desirable you are. People are going to name drop you, friend. Tap in. Because you are 10 toes down in your power, in your beauty, your ability to transform, and your ability to work your spiritual magic. People are going to see you. The people on the outside that don't understand what you're working with, this 7th, what do I want to say here? Your 7D, 7th layer realm spiritual technology. That's what I want to say. People that don't understand how you're working your newfound spiritual technology, they're going to see you as someone who is a recluse, a lone wolf, because they don't see who is around you. They see you coming, they see you going, they see you getting in your car and leaving, they see you getting in your car and going home. They don't never see anybody with you. When they do, it's always someone they believe they can't get to. But you are ushering yourself into an elite circle of people, an elite circle of spiritual understanding and knowledge, an elite circle of self-preservation and love. Other people might see you as inaccessible. They're going to see you as detached, remote, and you are all of those things in your villain era. Every last bit of it. That's where you are, who you are, and where you're standing in. Because what you need to prove that what? That you can be touched, that you are available. You don't need to. That's not where you are. You've gone above and beyond. Tap in. You just said. That's full. If you thought that your villain era wasn't worth it, let me tell you. You have released the strongest emotions that held you back. And you have poured so much into yourself that your heart is fulfilled. You can't go out and show your magic and be a catalyst for transformation and create order out of chaos and show people your beauty and be in elite circles if you don't have a strong hold on your emotions, on your intuition, on your spiritual powers, and understand the depth of your abilities. A lot of self work, a lot of pain that you have to get through, a lot of understanding of why you were the way that you were. When you start unpacking these things, this stuff can take time. Your villain era is creating those boundaries and those. Listen, Iron Dome, tap in, because that's what y'all's president said. He fitting to build an Iron Dome to protect the country from potential attacks. Sometimes I be into politics, but let me politic with you. You have built your layers of Iron Dome so that those who still think they can try to tap into you, when they send out their spiritual missiles, when they start to practice their incantations, when they start practicing their incantations towards you, when they start sending their spell work, because it's going to happen, they're going to start sending spell work to you because they believe that you're doing spell work when in all actuality the real work that you did was the work. They're going to start talking trash. They're going to start trying to start rumors and gain access to you. They're going to send their flying monkeys to you. Girl, please. All that is Ray Charles. Girl, please. Alien superstar. You pay them all in dust. But you can only do that when you pour into yourself. If you had no clue if this era was worth it, through the tears, through the pain, through the heartache, through the bleeding heart, you had no idea your healing is worth all of it. Your clarity is worth all of it. That is the ultimate proof of your power. When somebody tries to negotiate with you, you are unwavering and non-negotiable. Please. This villain era is your villain era. I am so happy you are here, and I truly do hope that you stay for a while. Stay for a spell, friend, and you come and hang out with me as we talk about all the different routes of your villain era and how you can become the happiest person in your world and use that happiness to construct a world that you desire, that you want, and so that you can give back to your community, to the ones that you love, in a way that does not deplete you. Because I am hashtag team you. And I'm very proud of you, friend. Welcome to your villain era. Peace.